Tier 1, Chapter 25. By the end of this chapter, you're either going to love or hate Kate.
Chapter 25. That evening, Nick and I are sitting in the living room after I put the boys to bed. I don't know how to do this. I haven't flirted in 15 years. I feel really, really old right now. Doubts come rushing into my head. He is so young. Why would he even want to be with me? Does he actually want this? Is he only doing this out of a sense of duty? I am doing it because I love another man, so I guess that's not much better. I speak to break the silence. Nick, what you said last night. I'm sorry if that was weird, he cuts in. I was so full of energy and warmth toward you. I realize I may have crossed a line. I didn't mean to overstep. No, I know. I have been thinking a lot about it. Eric and I talked some last night, but it ended like it always does. I lie. I never lie. My palms are sweating. When he showed up at the ceremony, I hoped that he had returned to get our relationship back on track. I shouldn't have gotten my hopes up, and I'm realizing that he needs to be invested in his research right now. This discovery is huge, with such far-reaching consequences. I don't know what that means for me, but I think it's obvious that Eric and I are drifting further apart every day. I worry about the boys, and I worry about being alone. I really appreciated knowing that you are here for us. I pause. Here for me. My hands are shaky. This feels so wrong, but I can't see any option that keeps our family intact long term. Of course I'm here for you. I'm sorry this is so hard. His face is sincere. I know he is probably very open to this change of direction, but he is also a genuine guy. I haven't seen anything in him that is self-serving. He only wants to do what is expected of him. He probably feels like he is making a huge sacrifice trying to settle in with me when he could have some beautiful, perfect 18-year-old bursting with energy and ideals. We are a sorry pair. At least he doesn't know that I know. Maybe that will count for something. I don't know where to go from here, I say. I can't keep playing this game with Eric. It's killing me, and I think it's adding stress for the boys. They can see I am not myself. My emotions are so close to the surface that I stop talking, in fear of breaking down. Nick moves to the seat next to me and puts his hand on my knee, and my body responds. Every time he touches me, my heart races a little bit. Proof that we are genetically a good pair. I try to keep this realization in the forefront of my mind so I won't chicken out. Kate, I would never try to come between a pair, ever. But these last few weeks have been slightly torturous for me. I am really attracted to you. Nick. No, he cuts me off. Just let me finish, and then you can say what you need to say. I am really attracted to you. Like, really attracted. Every night, I go home and try to stop my brain from making up stories where we are together, where I met you before Eric did. You literally would have been a baby. I look at him seriously. I know, he laughs. In my daydreams, I am the same age though, so just roll with it. I have a hard time shutting it down. I think about you constantly. I love your kids too, which doesn't help. All I've ever wanted is to find a pair, have a big family, and then follow whatever path will allow me to make this world a better place. Up until now, I haven't found anyone, but... I know, he puts his hands up. It sounds ridiculous. Just stick with me. I need to explain. Of course, I could have paired with a number of other women. I dated a lot right when I turned 18, and everyone hit the minimum requirement. But nobody matched all of the most important markers. More concerning, nobody felt like my equal. It seemed like I would always be settling. I think I told you about the one girl I tried to make things work with. Honestly, she did me a favor. I wouldn't have been fulfilled. I was trying to do what was expected of me, but it didn't feel right. I cut in. And somehow you think that you wouldn't be settling for me? I have so many flawed markers. I have been a mother and health assistant for my career. My brain and body are used. I'm 28, Nick. I look at him, aghast. I wonder if he will come clean and tell me that Berg ordered him to pair with me. He looks embarrassed. Maybe your age and experience are what attract me so much. Maybe I was never meant to be with someone my own age. Maybe that's why I never felt like I could find someone who complimented me. He swallows hard. I ran our numbers, he blurts out. What? I ran our numbers. In a weak moment. I am so sorry. It was a total violation of privacy. I am confused and slightly upset that he isn't being totally honest with me about what he knows and how he knows it. How? The system doesn't allow you to run numbers on people who are already paired. He looks down at his lap, his olive skin flushing. Grace gave me clearance. She didn't know that's what I wanted. I told her that I needed access to run files for the ceremony. The following week, I was told that I would be Bentley's mentor. A part of me felt like I should decline, knowing my personal feelings, but I couldn't make myself do it. Oh, I'm sure Grace knew exactly what she was doing. Is it possible that Nick wasn't in on this? That he was just gently guided in my direction? I try to keep my face straight as I analyze this possibility. Would that mean that he is actually attracted to me? Heat rises to my face. I clear my throat. So what did you find? We are an incredible match, Kate. We far exceed the minimum match required for pairing. We wouldn't be limited to only 1 or 2 children. When I saw that, and I already knew that I was attracted to you, that's why I was so forward the other night. I feel terrible about how I acted. It was not okay for me to take advantage of that moment. Seeing Eric, so intent to be with you, made me a little bit desperate. He rubs his face with his hands. He looks exhausted. I had let myself hope that Eric might choose his research over family and that I could swoop in, but just saying that out loud makes me feel like a jerk. He starts speaking quickly. Eric is obviously an amazing guy, and you have all of this history together. I'm sorry, Kate. I don't know what I was thinking. He stands up, speaking more deliberately. I feel sick just talking about this. I got carried away, and I am fully aware of how selfish my actions have been. Rest assured, I will learn from this and move forward. He purses his lips and turns toward the door. As he walks past me, his hand brushes my chair, and I reach out, grazing his fingers. Nick, I say softly. He stops but doesn't turn around. You aren't selfish. He is standing stock still. Wanting to help others doesn't mean you have to be a complete martyr. It doesn't mean that I put my wants above those of another, Kate, he says, still facing the hall. Sometimes sacrifice isn't black and white. I have gotten to know you well these last few months. I don't think you would pursue anything you didn't feel was for the greatest good. Nick turns around slowly and braces his arms on the chair, still not meeting my eyes. How do I know that the greater good is worth short-term loss, especially when it means I don't lose anything, I only gain? He asks quietly. How do I know that I'm not justifying the greater good for something I want? We sit in silence for a moment. You don't, I finally answer. I don't think we ever have enough information to know for sure that any one choice will end with the exact consequence we anticipated. But we can learn from past experience. In this case, looking at the results of past matches, we can be fairly certain that Eric's research is going to change our world. It will most likely change the lives of thousands and then millions of people. If he needs to dedicate his life there, how ridiculous would it be for me to stop him? I'm one person. That would be selfish. I try to avoid saying anything that would give Nick the wrong impression, that I know it's about more than Eric's dedication to his project. He raises his eyes and looks at me, a pained expression on his face. I know that I'm just a kid with very little relationship know-how, like none, he laughs. Unless you count dinner and small talk experience, which I have in spades. I laugh nervously. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to take Eric's place. If you two work things out, I will do my very best to not... He pauses and takes a deep breath. To not look at you or want to be with you. I will help Bentley and do all I can to mentor him and aid him in reaching his potential. He shakes his head in frustration and makes his way to the door to put his shoes on. I follow a few steps behind, stopping to lean against a wall. When the laces are tied, he stands and looks hard at me. I meet his gaze with a rather tentative smile. I will give you space to figure all of this out with Eric, he promises. I won't bring it up again, and I will be strictly professional when I come to see Bentley. Sudden realization dawns on his face. Oh, wow, we need to set up a time in the next couple of days, he says, flustered. I just realized we didn't make a plan for that. Do you know what will work? He says, suddenly all business, tapping his sensor. Nick, I say slowly. I'm not saying no. I stare at him intently, trying to look like I'm speaking with conviction. He stops and lifts his eyes to meet mine. No to getting together with Bentley? No. He thinks on this a moment. You aren't? He asks with a quizzical brow. No. A shy smile creeps onto his face and his cheeks flush. I can deal with not a no. Mustering my courage, I step over and pull him into a hug. He hesitantly puts his arms around my shoulders. He feels different from Eric, but still good. Solid. I breathe him in. I haven't had to be vulnerable with anyone new for a long time. It's scary and electrifying. I think of Eric, any excitement quickly fading to nausea, and I pull back slowly, ending the hug awkwardly. I give him a half-wave goodbye. Then he walks out the door. I rush to the bedroom and rummage through my bag to find my tablet, sending the message to Eric before I can find another excuse to wait. Tapping his contact, I block his number. It's done. I focus on what makes sense rather than what my heart is screaming at me. Bile rises in my throat, and I run to the washroom.